My name is Neha Tyagi. I work with Comscore as a Senior Director of Statistical Analysis. It's part of their measurement science and data analytics team. I have a certain expertise in data analytics, data operations, management, as well as global recruitment and expansion in the field of analytics specifically. I worked in various geographies, including India, the US, and Singapore, and I am currently based in Gurgaon. So I didn't have any educational background when it comes to either software engineering or statistics or mathematics in terms of what really is needed to be a data scientist, right? So that meant I had to very early on start studying on my own. So that it involved a lot of self-studying. My friends tell me you've never been free on weekends, and that's because you always see me doing some online courses, building my own website, building content. I've also leaned on teaching, so I personally really enjoy teaching, and I found opportunities in various programs where I could actually go and teach, even if I was not very well versed with the topic itself, but I would spend hours and hours beforehand to give that 1 hour of lecture and do it really well. In order to be able to enter that door, there's a couple of things that you can do along the way that helps you get prepared for that day. So the first thing is obviously the growth mindset. We've all heard about it, right? Many people talk about it. It works. That included studying a lot for gaining the essential hard skills. That included kind of learning about various people who are actually doing that in their careers and getting to know them, doing informational interviews with them. That also manifests in your personal life because I have a growth mindset. I think I'm always learning a new sport. I've learned quite a few. Some year you'll find me gardening, another year you'll find me maybe traveling. But I've done different things, and that's because I do believe the more you expose yourself to different things, the more prepared you are for unexpected things or for good opportunities. So that's number one on my list. Number two is forming relationships, right? Or in short, sometimes we also call that networking. And some people kind of get put off by the word networking, so that's why I'm calling it making relationships. That's one of my core strengths. And I'm not talking about going in a job fair and talking to a bunch of people, because that's just the very first step. But that's not building relationships. The intention behind it comes when you do reach out to them the next time, and the time after, and the time after, right? So that intention of going to somebody without an agenda, just to try to know what they're doing, how they've been, and also sharing about yourself, because you felt connected with that person at a given moment, that's what building a relationship is to me. And you don't do that with everyone. Maybe you met 10 people, but there are 2 who you clicked with, and then you end up making a relationship with them. Asking not just for help, but asking for a new project, asking to learn a new skill, asking to learn a new product, asking to, wanting a new job that you think you are good at or you will be good at, right? So asking is something that I've learned over time that we shouldn't be shy of, because your manager is supposed to help you in your career progression, but ultimately the onus is on you. So if you're not asking for things, then sometimes you're just going to lose an opportunity that otherwise would have been yours. And that is in all aspects, not just asking for help, but also asking for different things along the way. I have faced burnout, especially early on in my career, in both technology and law. There was a little bit of toxic environment going on in one rather than the other. I don't want to specify where exactly that happened, but to give you a picture, I've had a manager who would tell me that Just because you're living in a city where your family is not with you and you don't have much plan, why don't you continue to cover other people's shifts? Right? But I've done a lot of night shifts. I've done a lot of 12-hour shifts to an extent that my health kind of suffered because of it. And in the other toxic environment, everybody in my firm worked long hours. We did 40-hour shifts. We there would be a situation where on a Friday evening I would leave at 5 p.m. after a very long stretch and end up returning 2 hours later to office and working through Saturday mornings and all. So it was just a lot of hours, which I don't mind if you're working on something that is important and that you feel passionate about. But that toxicity led to it was because there were long hours without needing them. So you would wait for hours and hours and then realize you could have actually gone home 8 hours ago and there was no need, just because it was just really badly managed. So it was up and down. I would be very demotivated and sort of depressed for a couple of months, and I would just pick myself back again and be like, I'm just going to be more positive. I'm just going to try to manage up a little better. I'm going to convey what's happening. I'm going to help my manager understand that, we need to do things differently. Sometimes I would succeed. A lot of times I would fail because it was really hard to change that person. So it was a continuous battle of trying to keep yourself positive. But I did have a deadline in my mind. I was doing it for a specific reason. That was not just money. So I was doing it because I had to, but I also had an exit strategy, which included, again, the same growth mindset thing, studying a lot, trying to crack a job in an area that I actually wanted to work in, and just making sure that I'm not doing it for a period of time without actually having to do it. So my suggestion to anybody who is in a toxic environment is to revisit their circumstances and see if they actually have to be a part of that, or if that's not necessary, then quickly starting to work on their exit strategy, because it's not worth it in any given phase of your career. Well, I would say do it. So I'll talk specifically about data science and data analytics. And I think a career in data analytics or data science is generic enough, as in you can transfer it from one industry to another. So if you feel like this one industry is not working for you, you can quickly transfer your skills to another one, right? And it also gives you enough depth that you can eventually have a very rewarding career overall. So I'm a huge fan of women wanting to come and work in this field. I think we need more and more of us in this area. I didn't have a lot of, like I said, educational or related educational background. I did have an engineering degree, but that was in, chip design and electronics and communication. So that was very far off from actual programming and all. But with the right mindset, with enough hours, with enough hard work, you will be able to teach yourself this stuff for free. You don't have to pay for a program, or you don't have to go anywhere and spend money to get this skill set. Also, one thing to realize is data science is not one job, right? It's not just a very specific job. It's a spectrum of jobs. So you would start somewhere and eventually you continue to grow expertise in this area. So I would say let's not be intimidated by the terms being used. Like, people very easily use artificial intelligence and machine learning and blockchain and all of these data science related fields. I would say maybe start small, attack one thing at a time, which is pick a programming language. I recommend Python. Get decent at it. You don't have to become an expert at it. Revise your mathematical concepts, learn some libraries, run some easily available online projects. And by doing these little things and ignoring the huge fluff and jargon that's out there, one will be able to set up a successful career in data science, in my view.